Alright, so a big patch for Super Auto Pets was released recently, and I'm going to go through all of the changes that they've made, and also I'll show off my general tier list, first impressions. It's probably going to be way off, but still, like, I've played a lot on the test server, so I have quite a bit of experience already with this stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. First thing he did was add Boar. It's an 8/6 that's has a +2/+2 before attack. It's pretty much like a Hippo, except it's a tier 6, so it's kind of terrible. It's really hard to scale tier 6s, like, unless if you're playing the long-term versus match or something like that. And even then, the Boar's ability isn't going to do too much then. It's really only good against summoning builds, and even then, I just think, like, it's not worth going for at all. And I would put it at the bottom of the C tier, so not very good. Added Dolphin to pack 2, this can snipe butterflies, so that's pretty big. Added Tiger to pack 2, Tiger's not a super good unit anymore since you have to level it up, but, you know, I guess that's a change. So they nerfed Tiger, that you have to level it up. This nerfs, like, certain builds, like Tiger Snake, I think, is definitely taking a big hit, and also, like, Tiger Leopard isn't quite as good. I still think Tiger is kind of worth going for if you're going for, like, Tiger Leopard. If you can get a scaling Leopard, that's definitely a great endgame build. Yeah, this probably is deserved since Tiger was a really good unit. I had it like second best before. Now it's just like a solid B tier, maybe. Change Duck to give +1 health. So no longer gives +1/+1, just +1 health. This pretty much completely destroys Duck strats. I think Ducks went from like being the second or third best in the game to the worst in the game. You pretty much never want to take Ducks. It's a 1/2, it's just going to make you lose early on, and it's very rare that like +1 health will do too much. Maybe you can go like Duck strats into maybe like a Dirty Rat, Peacock, Cupcake, Crab or something, because when you cupcake something and then you place a crab down, its stats are permanent, so that's pretty helpful, but I still don't think it's like an amazing strat that's going to win you every time. Okay, so they changed Fly to 5/5 and its ability triggers only 3 times. So this is like a kind of a nerf, but also kind of a buff. I think in general for turkey strats, it's kind of a nerf, but it's actually just a big buff to just placing a fly with no turkey. Getting like a level 2 fly is actually huge because you summon 10 10s. You summon 3 10 10s, that's like 30/30. That's a huge extra just like stat boost in units. It also will pop melon armor. If you're going like Tiger Snake, you still get that extra trigger off of that. So fly is just a really good tier 6 unit now. One thing I've actually been doing is I get like a parrot to like level 2 or 3, and then I just buy a level 1 fly, and you get those instant like 10 10s or 15 15s. It's actually won me a decent amount of arenas. I think fly is very good, definitely an A tier unit. Change Squirrel ability to start of turn discount food. So they changed Squirrel a couple of times. They first made it so it filled the shop and gave a discount, and then they nerfed it back to this. And now Squirrel is back to being terrible. You pretty much don't really want to go Squirrel. Maybe there's a situation where you buy a Squirrel because you have like some frozen chocolate or pears or something, and then you could just sell it next turn and you get like 2 gold discount. I don't use the Squirrel very often though. So change Spider to summon pet with the same level. This is pretty interesting because if you get an early level 2 Spider, then you can pill it and see what you get. It's kind of an RNG thing that's a lot of fun, but I don't know if it's actually any good. Like if you somehow pill the spider and get like a level 2 ox or a level 2 like giraffe or level 2 turtle, level 2 sheep, like that's pretty huge. You know, it just occurred to me, you can like pill a level 2 turtle, get a level 2 sheep, immediately get a level 3 ram if you're going for the bison strat, which I think like bison is pretty dang good. I have an A tier, it's great scaling, and there's a lot of decent like tier 1s to get to level 3. I think mosquito, otter, and fish are all pretty good units to get to level 3, and then just have with the bison. So changed rabbit ability to trigger itself. They changed it so it was a tier 2 and they changed it back to tier 3 because I think it was too good. Rabbit's pretty decent. I don't have like too much to say about it, but that's a nice little buff. Changed Dodo to 2/3 and ability gives 50%, 100%, 150. Pretty big nerf to Dodo, but it's still actually pretty good. You can't Dodo chain anymore unless you get level 2 Dodos. So that's a pretty big nerf to it, but it's still actually kind of viable. As long as you get some scaling on that Dodo, it's a decent unit. Changed Rooster to 5/3 and ability to inherit 50% attack. Huge nerf to Rooster. I think it's completely deserved because Dodo Rooster was too good. And now it's like, I can't really tell. I haven't played quite enough to know if Rooster's actually good or not. It is something nice to have late game because its ability will still, like, if you have a level 3 rooster with 50 attack, you're still spawning 75 worth of attack with the chicks, so it still could be pretty good. I just don't think, it's definitely not like broken or anything anymore, which is good. Crab is now trigger on buy. This is interesting. So I mentioned earlier you can cupcake crab. We even Donut Seeds kind of theorized maybe you can even go double cupcake and crab, and then you have +6 health on that crab permanently, and then you can either just give it meat, or you can maybe try to scale that crab, get garlic, get a giraffe behind it. I don't know how good it is. I've had mixed success with this crab strat, cupcake crab. It's an interesting thing though that I'll probably experiment with a bit more. Change goat to 4/6 and the ability to have 2 charges. Goat is not really a unit that I use too much. It wasn't very good. I mostly play in free to play packs, so I'll skip over these kind of paid packs. So Sauropod. Monkey is a 1/2 tier 5 and it gives a 3/3. This is such a weird change. I don't know if they were trying to nerf Monkey, but this isn't a nerf at all. In fact, it makes monkeys even more important if you ask me. I have Monkey as the best unit in the game. If you get an early Monkey, it's just like a free win. You roll a Monkey on turn 9, that's huge. Just the +3, you get like a level 2 Monkey with chocolate. You're getting +6/+6. Nothing else scales like a Monkey, and it's kind of insane how good it is. Change Croc to 8/4 and now deals 8 damage. This is a kind of an interesting little buff, because I thought Croc was already pretty decent, and they just buffed its stats and its ability. This is like a good sniping build thing now. You can Parrot Croc too. It counters Badger at the back, it counters Fly at the back, Turkey at the back. I really do like going Crocodile. I don't think it's insanely good. It's not going to win you every game, but it can be interesting and fun. I still have Crocodile in B tier, but it's moved up a little bit. That's a nice little buff. Change Cow to be able to upgrade and provides better milk, but it's also a 1/2. So I originally had Cow as S tier. I think it's dropped down a little bit to A tier, because the milk, it's not quite as insane, especially if you go Rabbit Cow. Then you're just scaling so much health and not enough attack. It's kind of uneven that way. But going for level 2 Cow is pretty fun, and it's kind of insane. If you get Cat Cow and a level 2 Cow, then suddenly you're getting +4/+8, +4/+8. That's +8/+16 in one turn from 3 gold. The scaling can be kind of crazy, but then again, you have to have a Cow at level 2 in your team. It's an interesting thing. I'm not sure if it really needed a nerf, but why not? If it's S tier, I guess it can deserve it. Change Mosquito to always deal 1 damage and hit 1, 2, 3. Big buff. Mosquito level 3 I think is great, especially with Bison. You snipe people's melon armor all the time. This is an indirect nerf to melon armor. It's kind of crazy. You can have a Scorpion at the front with a level 3 Mosquito, and you just snipe their melon armor and immediately kill their best unit. It's a little broken, and now you have a reason to have a Mosquito late game. It's very good. So I think Mosquito is one of the best early tier units, or tier 1s. Change T-Rex to give +1 and also target itself. It's pretty much the same stat-wise. I did the math. It's only 1 stat difference. Not really a huge nerf, but maybe it's a slight nerf. T-Rex is still probably very good. Change Rat to 4/5. So they made it so it was a 1/1 and a 3/1 that summoned something that instantly did 3 damage, and now it's back to the old thing, and Dirty Rat is still bad. Milk is +1/+2. Canned food is +2/+1. Canned food I felt was almost always worth it. Assuming you weren't on lethal, you were always gonna invest in cans, I think, and it just made your shop scaling outscale a lot of the things that were out on your team. So now it's a little different. I still think you can maybe go cat can if you're really going late game, but I typically don't buy canned food anymore, and instead on turns 7, 8, I just focus on buying pears. I think it's kind of better than canned food now, but maybe not. Change Dog to tier 3. Not a huge change. It's a slight nerf, but I guess you can't go dog every time, and it's harder to get a level 2 dog early on. But if you get a dog on turn 3, I definitely think it's worth going for. It's pretty nice scaling. Since there's not a ton of things that scale early on, you pretty much have giraffe, rabbit, and then penguin and snails. It's hard to scale. So dog, maybe it's even worth it to still buy on turn 5. I'm not sure. I haven't experimented enough. Changed Whale to tier 4. This makes no sense to me. Whale is already a mediocre unit, but And also, this isn't that big of a nerf, because typically you want to go whale deer anyway, and deer is also tier 4, so kind of a weird change. Don't know why they did that one. Change poodle to 2-2 and a tier 5. Poodle was really good, so I guess this makes sense. Change parrot to tier 4 and a 5-3. This is probably the most fun change, I think. Also, isn't it a 6-3? Is that lying? Parrot, like, you can do a lot of things with parrot, and it's very interesting. You can pair it like a deer, you can pair it ant, you can pair it ox, you can pair it like just crocodile, anything really. And it's a lot of fun just to experiment with parrot. And if you get that level 2 parrot, you get like an early tier 6, suddenly you have a parrot that's like a level 2 tier 6. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Change puppy to cost 3 gold. I think puppy was like, it was okay. You have to kind of get like a level 2 puppy if you want to really outscale people. Otherwise, it wasn't super amazing. This is like, I don't know. Did it really need a nerf? Maybe. I'm not sure. Change microbe to tier 4. Microbe turtle strat's still going to be really good. I haven't played too much of the paid pack, but it seems like it's kind of a weird thing to buff, but sure. Change pig to 3-1. It's a weird change. It makes mosquitoes even better, because mosquitoes will just one-shot the pigs. You're probably just going to sell it anyway, so not really a big change. Horse is now a 2-1. Not a huge change. I think horses early on are okay, but the thing is, then you just don't have any scaling. If you get like the ants, the fish, the mosquitoes, like, or the otters, I guess not the mosquito, but all those scale where the horse kind of just doesn't. So I still think horse isn't really that great, and summoning builds in general. But if you do somehow survive, I still think turkey and like whale deer or whatever, sheep, it can be very good in the like late, early, middle game, somewhere around there. Change shrimp to 2-3. Fair enough. Like, I think shrimp, since they nerfed dog, it kind of indirectly nerfed shrimp, and shrimp dog is still pretty good. I would recommend going for that if you can. Change tabby cat to 5-3. I mean, tabby cat was pretty bad. That's fine. Change giraffe to 2-5. So it was a 1-3, and now it's a 2-5. One thing I've been doing is just getting a giraffe and putting meat on it. It wins a lot of early rounds, and then you also have like some scaling. I kind of like doing that. Change skunk to 3-6. That's like +1 health. That's pretty much nothing. Change worm to 2-2. Very minimal change. Worm is kind of risky. You kind of need like a rabbit and also the early worm. So very rare that you actually like go for a worm, but it can work. Change llama to 3-6. Llama, I don't think it's that good. Change lobster to 4-5. They changed its ability from 3-3 back to 2-2. So like they briefly experimented with that. It was okay for like a bit when it was 3-3, but now I don't think it's very good. Because it's just like a worse turkey, really, that has no ability in battle, and it's a tier 4. Change rhino 5-8. Still don't think it's really worth going for, but if you somehow get an early rhino and like an early monkey, I guess that could destroy summoning builds if you want to go for it. Or at least knock out melon armor. Change seal to 3-8. Pretty small buff. I don't think it's that amazing. Change grow to 6-9. Coconut armor is a very good ability, especially if people are going like mosquito late game, then you get free coconut armor. I think gorillas, it's pretty decent, but it's hard to scale those tier 6s. Change leopard to 10-4. Leopard is one of the best late game units. They did nerf tiger, so it makes leopard a little less good, but if you can, it's still nice to scale that leopard, and since monkeys do it really fast, it's actually not that hard. Change mammoth to 310. Kind of a weird change. I mean, most of the time you're just like using a mammoth to die immediately anyway, so that doesn't really do too much. Still not a great unit. Change swan to 3-3. Not a very significant nerf, but it's something. I think swan's still extremely good. Change caterpillar to the 1-3. Change kangaroo to 1-2. Kangaroo's kind of interesting. It's like, I don't know. I haven't had great success with it. I thought it would be a good middle game unit, but it's, unless if you get like a level 2, I feel like it's not going to really carry you too much. It's hard to like scale things in front of it, because if you have a giraffe, then you can't scale it, so, you know. Change turtle to 1-2. This is probably a good change. Turtle's still a very good unit. Early melon armor, assuming they don't have mosquito, still very good. Change mosquito, or change chicken to 1-2. Chicken's ability, from what I've seen, it can be like quite OP, but you have to have enough lives to actually go for it. So they go on to like kind of explain some things, like They want to keep things simple for the rat, which is kind of weird if you ask me. Like, was it really that complex? I don't think so. I think it's just as complex with how it is now. 50% wanted Turkey to be weaker. That's a lot of people. I think in general, like when people first play the game, they think summoning builds are OP, and then they go against someone with garlic armor and like, okay, garlic armor's OP. It's like just the newer players probably are assuming that Turkey's way too good. Turkey, it's a fine unit, I think. It's certainly a good unit, and I don't know. 50% just seems like a lot. I don't think it's the best unit in the game. I think Monkey is, so kind of weird. They seem to be going like, so they're trying to move quickly, which is why a lot of times they instantly change something and then they reverted it because they realized like it was too much of a change, like with Squirrel or like Chicken. But I don't know about, it's good to listen to the community, but if you're snap making decisions, you can kind of make like bad decisions and have to go back on it, but at least they are. So I don't know, it's just good that they're listening to the community. I look forward to like updates in the future. I just hope they don't listen to only newer players, because this is how you end up with like nerfing Whale for some reason. This is my tier list. As you can see, Monkey is the best. I think Cat and Dragon are just extremely good scaling, and you really need scaling. Stats are kind of the way to just win. There are some abilities that can be very good, but without Tiger, I feel like it's mostly just you scale and have high stats and you kind of win that way. So Swan, just free money, and then Fly, Turkey, you got Cow, again scaling. Melon Armor, Penguin is like the only decent tier 4 now. Maybe you can like go for a Deer, but for the most part, you just kind of want to go Penguin for scaling if you can. If you don't have level 2s, then obviously you skip it. Instead, if you have a level 3, I think it's definitely worth going for Bison. Ox is just a solid unit. You can always pair it in Ox, and that will give you some like middle game wins. Snails, since scaling is so hard to come by, I think Freezing Snail is definitely worth it. Otters, just crazy good scaling early game. Already though, if you have Mosquito, you can just one-shot something. I have Croc, Badger, those are solid units. Parrot, Fish, like just really good early unit. So is Ant, because you can just pill it and get stats. Giraffe is like the only scaling in tier 3 besides Rabbit. Leopard, good late game. Again, Mosquito buff is nice. Snake has fallen off a little bit. Like it's pretty easily countered, I think, with just high stats, especially since there's a lot more wide scaling with like Cat and Dragon that typically the Snake won't kill things anymore. Skunk, Kangaroo, Rabbit, Deer, Dodo, Dog, Tiger, Rooster, still unsure about, but like a lot of just mid-tier units here that I think situationally can be good, but aren't gonna just like win you get to, get you to 10 wins. You got Flamingo. I think just pilling a Flamingo is decent stats early on. You got Dolphin. I don't know why I have Shark and B tier. It's just like a decent stat unit if you just want to fill a slot, but most of the time that like doesn't really happen, because actually, yeah, I'm gonna move Shark is now into C tier, because when you're on tier 5, you just want to roll for like cows and monkeys, and that's pretty much it, and chocolate. So there's really no reason to take a Shark. Whale Deers, I guess, still okay, but I wouldn't really recommend going for it, because you're just going to lose to good scaling. Worm is risky. Seal, Gorilla. I think Gorilla might be a little low, because if you can get it scaling, it is a great ability. And then you got all the herd effects pretty much in C tier, because they just don't like last very long. And then like Hippo is good if you want to counter summoning builds, but summoning builds aren't that great to begin with, and you can also just counter them with really high stats, so that's kind of the way to do it. Squirrel is still really bad. Camel, I think, is still really bad. It's like it's a tier 3 with a herd effect. These are at least like tier 2s. And then Duck is pretty much useless and the worst in the game now. So those are my overall thoughts. Hopefully they'll continue changing the meta, and thanks for watching. See ya.